You open your refrigerator. A box of deli meat sits in the bottom corner bought just 5 days ago, and it's already starting to smell. Meanwhile, in 1922, when the heavy stone doorway of Tutankhamun's tomb was first opened, archaeologists discovered clay jars filled with golden liquid that had been sitting there for 3,000 years. No refrigeration, no chemical preservatives, no modern technology, and it was still edible. Imagine this, an entire food preservation industry worth hundreds of billions of dollars, from smart refrigerators to E-series additives, being outperformed by an insect with a brain the size of a sesame seed. And this is where things start to get strange. To understand why honey seems immortal, you can't just look at the jar itself. You have to look at human history, a history not defined by wars or empires, but by decay. If you divided human history into chapters, the longest one wouldn't be about agriculture or industry. It would be about bad smells. Humanity has always been running from rot. Picture an ancient riverside village fish, caught fresh in the morning, turning into a bacterial playground by afternoon. Hunted meat, if not eaten immediately, becoming a feast for flies the next day. From that obsession came salting, smoking, and drying as if we were trying to lock time inside every strand of meat. When that wasn't enough, we invented glass jars, metal cans, and by the 20th century, we convinced ourselves that refrigeration was the ultimate weapon against decay. But you heard correctly, even the most advanced canned foods only last a few decades. While humans chased the promise of eternity, nature seemed to stand back and quietly smile. Because there was something from ancient times that neutralized bacteria without electricity or machinery. Not ice. Not salt. Honey, the substance Egyptians once described as sunlight trapped in a jar. And so the story takes us deep into the desert. Into a silent place where history challenges human arrogance. Imagine standing inside a pyramid 3,000 years ago. Egyptians are busy preparing a ritual draining water from a mummy, coating it with aromatic resins, covering it in salt, all to defeat bacteria, the invisible enemy of life after death. But here's the twist. Long before humans realized that water was the true ally of decay, bees had already mastered that lesson millions of years earlier. Bees aren't magicians. They are biological engineers. When they collect nectar, a liquid containing up to 80% water, they immediately begin removing moisture, cutting molecules apart, and rebuilding order to create a substance capable of lasting indefinitely. From another perspective, honey is essentially a miniature embalming fluid, not for the dead but for itself. That's how bees stretch time, locking natural decay behind chemical mechanisms that humans took centuries to understand. And just when you think the story has reached its peak, honey plays one final trick, a trick that even time itself struggles to overcome. Imagine honey as a time capsule. No ticking clock, no calendar pages turning. Because chemically speaking, time only moves when bacteria are active. No bacteria means no decay. And this is where things become profound. Honey doesn't stop time. It forces time to stop. When bees reduce water content below 18%, the solution becomes so concentrated it resembles a sealed room filled with ultra-absorbent sponges. If a bacterium dares to enter, the water inside its body is pulled out within seconds. It becomes petrified not by a curse, but by osmosis. But that room is also coated with acid. Gluconic acid pushes the pH down to around 3.4. Woo! Similar to lemon juice. Drop a piece of limestone into lemon juice and watch it fizz. Bacteria experience something similar, only silently and helplessly, and as if to ensure no invader ever returns. Honey releases hydrogen peroxide, the same antiseptic liquid you've seen bubbling on open wounds, a self-running chemical factory, requiring no electricity, no supervision, and no magic. These principles didn't come from humans. They came from nature, from an insect that has never read a book, yet operates as if it wrote the chemistry textbook itself. Now we return to that 000-year-old jar of honey in a pharaoh's tomb. It didn't just survive. It remained intact. It could sit there for another 3,000 years. If humans simply left it alone, but reality isn't that forgiving. Imagine a perfect jar of honey, sealed and sterile. One wet spoon touching its surface introduces millions of yeast spores. A few drops of water seep into the thick layer, breaking the legendary 18% balance. The osmotic shield collapses. The acidic environment weakens. Hydrogen peroxide becomes diluted. Bacteria awaken. Yeast begins to bloom. The immortal empire built by bees, something that survived the Bronze Age. The Roman Empire. And 3 industrial revolutions collapses because of a spoon that wasn't fully dry. Look again at humanity's race for eternity. We invented refrigerators only to be outdone by bees. We created preservatives that fade after decades, while honey stands still calm, motionless, immortal, as if time itself were just a rumor. Immortality isn't magic. It's the absolute control of biological variables. Bees never built pyramids. Yet they engineered a technology we still cannot perfectly replicate. So the next time you open a jar of honey, remember, you're touching an ancient technology that goes beyond refrigerators, beyond additives, and far beyond human ambition. Do you want to discover how many more historical illusions are hiding in your own kitchen? Hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. There are many more secrets waiting to be uncovered.